Welcome to the human narratives. Welcome to the human narratives, my beautiful, lovey's. It is a pleasure to be here. I know I've been off a couple of weeks, but I talk about self care often, right? So if I'm preaching something, I'm going to indulge in it. So I'm the type of person that's going to preach something or speak something to you, and it's also something that I'm either motivating myself to also get into doing or that I'm already doing. Okay. So I've always promoted self care and put a lot of emphasis on self care and making sure that you are equipped to take care of other people, right? You can't take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself. So the past couple of weeks, I've just been poured into me, into Dorinda. And it has been so beautiful when I'm exhausted, not pushing myself to do anymore, or even if I do have to push myself, knowing when to stop, which is something I normally don't do, right? Because I always have to finish everything I'm doing and get an outcome out of it. So I'm better learning how to be a better person to myself, not just to other people. So, but welcome to the Human Narratives, y'all. It is a pleasure to be here. So, I've been on this journey recently to start wearing my natural hair, and I bought this product called Wave Talk on TikTok, right? And this is my second time, straightening my hair. And you know what? I'm loving it. Miss T, I'm still coming to you, Miss Trinell Smeet, my hairdresser. She's been my hairdresser for almost 10 plus years. I am still coming to you, girl. Because I got no fingers like yours. I got some therapy fingers, but I don't got no hairdressing fingers. So I'll be seeing you soon, girly girl. I was just trying to do my part before I come see you, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, welcome to the human narrative, y'all. So, there's been a lot going on, and of course, our episodes are going to be spaced out when they're published. But check us out. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. But a lot has been going on in the news. There's a lot of stuff going on with Nicki Minaj and, Cardi B, JT, Diarrhea Bia, all those stuff that Cardi B allegedly put on her record, right? But remember this. These are all talented women. And I do not understand why, when we are in those position of power, why we do not celebrate one another. And I understand that this is not my topic of the day, but I'm still going to touch on it. There is so much stuff going on in Houston, Texas about women dying and ending up at the bayou, and we're not sure if this is serial killing or if this is just random situations that are just happening out here in the world. But there's a lot going on in the world. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, kids being thrown into the beef situations, which I completely disagree on. We're all grown adults, we're all grown people. If we are gonna beef and fight, fist to fist, let's get beefing and let's fight in and let's squash it and move forward. No guns, no equipment, no object, fist to fist, like how we used to fight back in the motherfucking days. Okay? I don't see that shit anymore. People don't fight like they used to fight anymore. It's all about guns and picking up this so I can hit you, so I can have an advantage to win. Nah. But anyway, my point of all of this is that these are all talented women. And as women, we are to nurture and promote and uplift one another because that's what we are to do. That's what we are to do. Now, this is my second recording because I ended up hitting stop instead of pausing on my other video. But I'm still gonna publish that one out because it's still good, okay? But we ought to celebrate one another. So if we feel like Nikki is in a space where it's unhealthy right now, let's pray for our sister because she's a talented woman. And if we feel like, Cardi B is in a space where she's glowing, let's continue to uplift her and nurture that space because she's a talented woman. There's no reason why Nikki should be hating on Cardi or why Bia or JT should be hating on Cardi because guess what? We are all out here trying to survive. We're all out here trying to make it happen because that's the space of God. It's love and it's acceptance. It's creating that for one another. You know, I've looked at my life and I've seen people who are envious and jealous of me. And I'm like, why? Why? Why are you jealous and envious? Because everything I have belongs to God Almighty, not me. So if you're envious and jealous of me, baby, you're gonna have to take it to him. Because I got nothing to apologize to you about. you know. But I celebrate Cardi. She's doing such a great job in her music. She is healing. She's gone through pain, a hard time. She never gave up. As you've seen in her podcast recently, she didn't give up. There were so many different thoughts that came to that she did not lean on, but she stood on who she knew her substance is, which is God. One of the things that came to my mind today that I wanted to focus on next time maybe is the patterns of the enemy. You have to be able to know what the patterns of the enemy is when it comes to you. Because the reason why I brought up that topic is, as I kept talking about self-care and me relaxing and taking a break from the podcast and all of those things, I also knew that the way of the enemy not allowing or causing me to not be out here and speak the word of God or do the things that I need to do that will make impact is through laziness. He will throw laziness or being tired as a means to not fulfill my purpose. But guess what? Whether I take a break, a month or two, the human narratives is going to be here, baby. We are here because we're about speaking what needs to be spoken in the human world. So it is a pleasure and an honor to serve y'all by the grace of God. And to be able to focus on today's topic. So, Cardi, you're doing your thing, girl. And if you can come to the human narrative for an interview, come on. Because you are authentic as fuck. And I love authentic bitches. Yes. So, today's topic is revenge and growth, or revenge versus growth. Why is revenge easy? And why is growth the most important thing so hard? Revenge can feel easy in the moment because it taps into our raw emotions, anger, hurt, betrayal. And acting on those feelings can give a quick sense of satisfaction, but it often comes with longer term cost. It can keep your wounds open and escalate conflicts or trap you in cycles of negativity. And baby, this girl out here is all about positivity and living life to the full of her, and to the fullest. So why do we need negativity around us? Why do we feel like we always have to revenge in situations? Well, we can just turn it up to God because He's the substance of everything if we can commit it to Him. What's harder and sometimes more powerful is channeling that energy into growth, success, and peace. I remember a couple of months ago, I talked about when I was sitting at a parking lot and I was crying. It's actually a park. I was crying and I was asking God, and I didn't even know what I was crying for. All I knew is I felt empty in certain spaces in my life. And I was crying to God for peace. And boy, has he not done it for me. He not given me that? And I didn't know what that peace was going to look like, because there were people and things in my life that I assumed that were going to be in my life forever until the good Lord calls me home. And when I asked for that peace, he started to remove things, job that I thought I needed, people that I thought I needed. And he started teaching me the stuff that I was giving out, how to pour those things back into myself. Because how can I say that I'm giving things to people authentically when I was also not giving those things to myself, sacrificing, starving myself of those things, but yet giving it to other people? Isn't God great? Isn't he good? He's saying that I want you to be loved on and nurtured and cared for, so that you can also demonstrate that love to other people. Man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Why is it important to handle people differently after a betrayal? So that you don't have the mindset of revenge, or feeling like you have to revenge. And that's a deep question. And that's really important. After someone betray you, handling them differently matters for a few reasons. Protecting yourself, betray shows you that the person isn't as trustworthy as you once thought. So adjusting how you deal with them helps protect your boundaries. It helps protect your emotions. It helps protect your future and opportunities. This is not about getting back at somebody. This is about making sure that you're in a place where you don't have to change because of those circumstances around you, where you can still ask God to protect you and keep his purpose alive in your life. Redefining the relationship. Why is it important to handle people differently after betrayal? It's not just about protecting yourself, but it's about redefining the relationship. The dynamic has changed. Whether you stay connected or not, treating them the same as before can ignore that reality of what has happened, while handling them differently, acknowledging the new limits. Handling people after a betrayal, instead of revenge, handling them differently shows your boundaries, shows your limits, shows who you are, shows the fact that I was never something to play with. I was never a toy. I was never naive. I was never stupid. I was never weak. But through my eyes of love, I allowed certain behaviors because I thought this was a trusted space, right? So maintaining or redefining that relationship, because the relationship that you once assumed it was, once that person shows who they truly are, that they've never shown in the relationship or in that space before, you have to be able to set your limits. And you can't take that lightly. You also have to be able to maintain. It helps you to maintain self-respect. If you keep engaging with someone as though nothing happened, it can feel like you're minimizing your own hurt, shifting how that interaction or behavior reinforces, how you want to be trusted, or how you feel trusted should be perceived as, and how you feel respect should be perceived as. And it may not be valuable, and it may not be seen as things that should be taken lightly if you don't put an emphasis on those things: respect, trust, honor. you know when I first got married, I thought that relationships are all about love. Oh my goodness, my young self. Relationships were all about love. Oh, I love you. And oh, I love you. Oh, I love you. And then I've come to realize that over the years, it takes more than just love to keep a marriage, to keep any relationship going. It takes effort. It takes both individuals wanting to be there by doing the work that's necessary to maintain that space, to keep and nurture and protect that space. It takes effort. And I've realized that there are a lot of people who want the benefits of relationships, but they're not willing to put the work that is necessary to maintain those spaces. Hmm. You ain't ready. You ain't ready, bro. Sis, you ain't ready. So shifting how you interact reinforce that your trust and your respect are valuable and not things that should be taken lightly. When you chooses to handle people differently after a betrayal, it prevents repeating the same harm. It prevents repeating the same situations that have kept you in a place that you never thought you would find yourself. Betrayal often creates patterns. Patterns. Anything that is a pattern of behavior is going to leave patterns, right? As I mentioned, the enemy has patterns, things that he does to take control of your mind, things that he does to know that you're weak, to be able to easily be influenced in those spaces. One of the things that I mentioned earlier was that when I put my mind to something, and I know I'm going to do it. One of the things that the enemy always places in my path is to say, "Oh man, I'm tired today. I already did all these things today, so I don't have no time to get to the other stuff." But I know that's him keeping me from what I need to do to focus on. But guess what I do? My sister and my brother, I rest, and guess what? I'm back up and ready to go because God's purpose in me will be fulfilled. That is why I'm here. Okay? Preventing repeated harm. Betrayal often create patterns, like I mentioned. If someone knows you're always forgiving or overlooking, they may repeat those patterns and those behaviors. Responding differently sets clear expectation and discourages future harm. I remember someone told me that you have too many boundaries. And I looked at that person straight in the eye and I didn't even say nothing. Because I'm so happy that you recognize that I have boundaries. And now it is your decision to determine how you move around me. Because I already know how I'm moving around you. Whether you like it or not. I already know what I'm going to do to protect my boundaries and my peace because I already know that you are not someone that wants to respect it or honor those boundaries, right? So, creating that space to be able to respond differently when it comes to your value and your expectations and not making that an option, creating a space for healing them differently, more distance, more cautious, or clearer boundaries allows you the space to heal without being constantly reopening those old wounds that's created by someone else or that you continue to allow someone else to open or to keep open. It doesn't always mean cutting the person off, but sometimes it's about adjusting how much access. That is very important. How much access they have to your trust, time, and energy. Everybody should not have access to you, whether it's family, whether it's friends, or whoever the case is. Everybody should not have access to you. Remember that. Woo! Not allowing yourself to handle people with revenge who mishandle you or betray you. Why is that important? Choosing not to handle betrayal with revenge is important because revenge often feels powerful at first, but it keeps you tied to the very person who wronged you. And here's why: resisting revenge matters. It protects your peace. Revenge keeps your energy focused on them, on that person, instead of your healing. By not engaging in it, you stop them from taking up more space in your mind and in your heart, in your space, in your surrounding, in your being. You get to give yourself the opportunity to choose how you want to live your life. It protects cycles of harm. If you strike back, they may retaliate and the cycle continues. Stepping away from revenge breaks the chain before it consumes more of your life. There's no reason why you should allow anyone behavior or lack of maturity to keep you in a cycle that is unhealthy. You have to understand who you are. You have to understand whose you are. And you have to be able to stand firm in that space, trusting who God has made you to be. Now, this is not about being negligent to the will of God in being able to create relationships with people, but it's understanding whose or what relationship will bring such positivity or energy into your life, consciously into your life. That's beautiful. It shows strength, not weakness. Revenge is reactive. It's a restraint. It is intentional. Restraint is intentional. Showing you can control yourself, even when you're deeply hurt, is a sign of strength and maturity. Now, that is the one of the most toughest thing that a person goes through. I don't know how the good Lord has allowed me to be able to heal through those spaces. But one of the difficult things that I've had to learn to do for years, and I'm grateful to God for that, is to stay quiet in the most vindicating moments in my life. Wow. It's to not be reactive when everything around me is reactive. It's to not speak when everything around me is speaking lies. It's to say, God, you're in control, and I have to put down my swords when everything around me is picking up their swords to attack. That's tough. It's hard, but you still have to trust and not pick up those swords because revenge is reactive. Restraint is intentional. I have to be intentional to say, you know what? As painful this is, as hurt as I am, I can't pick up that sword because knowing me, I may do damage, but is it going to even last or even have meaning? What I can do is trust in God because His will not, it's not even about revenge. It's also about, my goal is really about changing God, showing those individuals where they fucked up at or where I fucked up at so that I can be the version, not virgin, but version of who, not being that, but be the version of who He wants me to be because that's important, and who He wants me to represent, the kingdom of God. So revenge is reactive, restraint is intentional. Showing you can control yourself even when deeply hurt is a sign of strength and maturity. It safeguards your integrity. Someone else's betrayal doesn't have to pull you out of your alignment with your own values. And that's what I tell people all the time. Do not allow someone, how they show up in your life, to change who you are. I will always love. I love loving. I love to love. Because that's who God is. God is love. When we think about God and everything He is a demonstration of, He is love. And I love that concept of love. Hating and revenge, those things require so much negative energy. And I'm like, ugh, you're a pollution. Don't pollute me. I want peace. I want happiness. I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to honor people. I want to be able to cherish and create safe spaces for people. That's the mood and the spirit that I want in me. And that's what I thrive for every day. Someone else doesn't have to pull you out of alignment with your own values, because those are my values and those are the things that are important to me. Choosing not to retaliate, allowing myself to remain the person who I want to be each and every day, no matter who fucked up. God still love you and I still pray for you. It opens space for growth. When you refuse revenge, you create room for setting boundaries, learning lessons, and focusing on building something better for yourself. Some of the things that I've realized in my life in the space that I'm in now is understanding that what is not for me or what God says no to, it's not about Him punishing me. It's about Him allowing me to learn some lessons in those spaces so that I can be the person that I need to be. Instead of revenge, you can respond with boundaries, limiting people's access, things access to your trust of or life. Silence and distance also work. Sometimes the strongest answer is no reaction. It's not. If I've given you a space of being safe for years and you take that space for granted, my next reaction is going to be silence because I have nothing else to give you. You're going to have to figure the rest out for yourself, my boy, my girl, whatever you are. And success, focusing on your own progress is often the best reply. You know how many people say, I wasn't going to be shit? But thanks be to God. Because even when people say I ain't going to be shit, He already knew I was before He formed me in my mother's womb. Ah! So you got nothing to do with me or against me unless God says it is. And that's the belief we have to carry on. Strength lies in silence after betrayal and rising above it without being out of character. That's beautiful. When you stay silent after betrayal, you're not ignoring the pain. You're not choosing not to let the betrayal dictate your next move. That silence becomes a form of strength because it denies those people that have tried to break you, that have those people that have tried to break you. It denies them power. They don't get the satisfaction of seeing you unraveled because they're not God. It preserves your dignity. You respond with composure, not chaos. It shifts the focus back to you on your healing, growth, and rising above without being out of character is key. It's key. You have to know who you are, and you cannot allow circumstances, people, situations to define that. And I know healing is not easy, but if you say you love yourself, you owe yourself to go through what is keeping you from being the true, authentic self, your true, authentic self. And rising above without being out of character is key because it's if you let betrayal turn you bitter or revengeful or vengeful, you step out of alignment with your true self. Staying in character means you keep your integrity, your values, your peace, your respect intact. In a way, silence and rising above are the kindest answer They show you're unshaken. Ah, you saw that? Is it a little titty shaking? Unshaken. They show you're unshaken. It shows that you're unshaken, and they that you're free to move forward, or that they free you from moving forward because you're not intact by what they've called you to be or what they said you be. Because the cost of revenge is often far greater than it seems in the moment. It feels like, reclaiming power, but what it really does is that it drains you, your peace of mind. Revenge keeps you mentally tied to the person who hurt you instead of healing. And you're replaying the pain over and over and over again, ruminating on those thoughts. And you don't deserve that. Your character, when you lower yourself for their level, you risk becoming what you dislike. And damn, it can pull you out of alignment with your values, your time, and your energy. One of the things that I have learned in this space that I'm in, to protect my time and my energy, I am not giving it no longer to people who are not going to make use of those spaces. Plotting, acting, and dealing with the fallout from revenge eats away at time you could spend building something better for yourself. I said the greatest revenge in life, it's not hurting other people because they've hurt you. It's not talking about people because they talk about you. It's not, saying negative, trying to destroy someone's character or identity because you feel small, so that you're in space. The best revenge in life is not only silence, it's success. It's being able to get back on your feet and say, you know what? Thank you for showing me things that I never assumed, or maybe things that I have ignored in me for years, because now I can actually sit come to pass. Relationship and reputation. Others may see your actions as petty, cruel, which can damage how people trust or respect you. The cycle of pain. Revenge rarely ends things, it escalates them. The hurt keeps bouncing back and forth, prolonging suffering for everyone involved. So ultimately, the goal is the main thing is that revenge costs you more of yourself than it costs the person who betrayed you. If we stay in that spirit, it is a spirit. Today my pastor talked about how the enemy tends to get in people to do things that are they wouldn't do on their own. That is a spirit. So we have to be mindful of the patterns of the enemy. And I'm gonna do some podcasts on that. The patterns of the enemy, knowing who you are and understanding how the enemy tends to try to trick or distract you to fall into his traps. I know his traps. I know what he tends to do when it comes to Dorinda, because he knows where I belong. I tell him, God, I belongs to God. That's that. Okay, that's that. I always say, it's funny, ironic. Today I'm driving to church. And of course, I'm running late because I ended up doing other things that I didn't thought I was gonna be doing, like cleaning and picking up things. And I always think I have enough time to do other things instead of just get up and go. And I'm driving. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm late. If we were going to heaven right now, I'd be late getting in. I'd be 20 minutes late. And I'm like, God, but I'll be still standing at that door until you open it again, because I ain't going to the other door. No. But we also have to be mindful of how we walk and how we do things, right? So ultimately, revenge costs you more of yourself than it costs the person who betrayed you. Choosing to rise above may feel harder at first, but it leaves you lighter, freer, and more in control. And my brothers and my sisters, I've been feeling that way in many instances in my life where I felt like people have done me wrong, and I've let go and let God, because I trust in His growth for me than in my thoughts of revenge for myself. So I don't know what you're going through today. I don't know who have hurt you. I don't know what pain you're carrying. I don't know what betrayal you've endured. But remember this: you are not alone. God allowed you to go through those things as redirection, as lessons, not as abandonment, not because He has given up on you, not because you're not worthy, but because He saw things that you didn't see. He heard things that you didn't hear. And at the end of the day, no matter what or who you think you're here for, His purpose will be fulfilled. So I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, instead of choosing revenge, choose growth, because that's what we need to do to uplift one another. So I say this to all my women out there, Nicki Minaj. I say this to all my women out there, Cardi B. I say this to all my women out there, JT. I say this to all my women out there, Bia. We got to love one another. All of you ladies are talented. If we can just come together as one and produce the music that you ladies produce, oh my goodness, as women, we have so much power when we're united. I love all of y'all. And God bless everything that you guys are doing. And I hope that we can create those safe spaces for one another. But I'm rocking. I'm rocking all of y'all because all of you women are talented. So God bless you. God pour into y'all and God restore you. And Cardi, if you ever want to do another interview, check your girl out. This is Dorinda Bori out here at the Human Narrative. And even Nikki want to do a interview. Come on to the Human Narrative. I got you, girl. Because the struggle that we're all going through right now in life, we're all overcomers because by the grace of God. And we should never use our weaknesses to promote ourselves or use other people's weaknesses to promote ourselves. God bless y'all and keep y'all. But always remember, choose peace, choose healing, because there's so much in it. God bless you. Until I see you again. This is your girl, your host, the one and only. And let me know what you think about my hair, okay? As I go into this back into this natural hair journey, hair, and all of that stuff. But God bless you and keep you until we see you again. The patterns of the enemy coming soon. God bless. Your one and only Dorinda, the Human Narrative. Peace.